Hello, and you're very welcome to episode 29 of the Take a Pull podcast with Andy Cummins and Declan Carroll. Declan, we've been off for a little bit over a week, but how are you? How have things been?
Yeah, good. It's well, it was a hectic weekend. It was a big build up to it, and yeah, we've what have we been doing since? Just
I've been
rest.
flat out, resting. Yeah,
It was
bank holiday
it
over
was
here as well.
particularly heavy weekend for me. It was out both
Absolutely
nights, so um,
heavy.
yeah, there was a bit of recovering to do on Monday. Still a bit tired on Tuesday, but good to
Got
be
there in
back
the
into
end.
it tonight now. Hopefully
Good.
this goes ahead on Saturday.
Yeah. Wow. Look, if it, we can trust with Irish racing, it usually gets rescheduled. So, it'll be
Yeah,
there
but
for people. So, which is good.
Torres is rescheduled for Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say this will probably follow Wednesday, maybe if needs be. If there's no meeting, I haven't checked next week's schedule now, but
I haven't looked in there, but do you know what? They probably could have waited an hour or so, and they could have just swept the water off Torres.
exactly, yeah. Blow it over.
Water doesn't soak into a road.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. 7 race card to go through at Naas, which features a 4-year-old novice hurdle juvenile hurdle, that half of Twitter have made sure to remind us all that it's probably the key trial for the Boodles handicap hurdle, the Fred Winter at the Cheltenham Festival. So that'll be an interesting race to get stuck into early doors. I'm particularly looking forward to the Hunter's Chase as well. Actually, I think we're only really missing Ferns Lock there from the top Irish hopefuls for that. It's really good race now. But just to scale back to last week a bit, quite a successful week. With a good few winners, and a big thank you again to Hugh Cowell for stepping in and hosting. It broke all our records in terms of viewership, and a good few winners. We got to meet a lot of listeners at Leopardstown as well, which was very cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Thoroughly enjoyed that, and really nice. It makes it all worthwhile. And we just have to press on now, and we'll keep delivering the winners if everyone keeps listening. So that's the main thing. But just before we jump into a few races, on the Twitter post there, I did ask for a couple of questions, so I will rattle through a few quick ones, or some of the ones I did quite like. A bit of a trolley question, I suppose, to start off with, from Edward Sheehy, and I already saw you reply to this, Dec. Were there any unlucky losers at the Dublin Racing Festival? Your Sunday was probably one of the unluckiest days I've probably ever seen on a race course, with Percival Lagawa, and obviously we both were keen on Attaboy Charlie, who was travelling well, but Percival Lagawa surely has to be that was just... Yeah.
Somebody in the bar upstairs said to me later on that they just looked over and see me with me head in my hands, and he said,
it was an over jump as well, which is just
look, now come here. The winner won well, but I think he was about to go by him. You know, that was the killer. It's like he was off the bridle before the winner, but he was rolling. He was running on for pressure. And I think he was going by the winner at that stage. Now, whether he's seeing it out or not, we don't know. But I'll tell myself he would have been outstayed. But
even though he won the 3-mile handicap on the card last year, and he was a very strong stayer at the 2-mile 5. But it's
come
it's
here.
tough.
The way I look at it, like that was tough. That was a real kick. And Attaboy Charlie coming down. Like myself and yourself went down to the ring, and we said, we get it back here now. And look, that was 2 out, but he was tanking. He was going really well. But the way I look at it is, we were still looking in the right places, and you will be right more times than not if you keep looking in the right places. So it's not like you can take some good out of the weekend. You know, it was probably more than that as well. Like, I don't think I'm talking through my pocket, but Chitara has to have some excuses. Like, Rachel lost her irons.
There was problems there early, for sure.
Yeah, you know, she was probably a little bit keen. So look, I still think she'll go to Fairley House and win.
Not sure. It should be a nice price to do it.
I hope she is, but you know, she probably has a couple of excuses. There's probably a couple throughout the weekend, but I suppose Legoa and
Attaboy
Charlie were the big ones. And the fact that they came a half an hour, you know,
but between each other, it is. One that we didn't back that I thought was an unlucky loser, just because it was such a good ride. The opening race on Sunday, Danny Mullins on Minx Tiara. rode them all to sleep and just bumped into a really, really well handicapped mare in Bruccio. Crawford's, yeah. Simon Crawford trains for Simon Minear and Isaac Swade. She's gotten a right hike. I think she got £9 or something. She's up to 127 Irish. Not quoted anywhere for Cheltenham, despite that race throwing up plenty of festival winners. Like she could get into the bottom of the Martin Pipe, and I'd say she'd take a fair bit of stopping, but nobody's really taken any notice to how quite impressive she was and hit the line. And she's one that I have very close to my radar. And with Minx Tiara, I think Danny can count himself very unlucky that he just bumped into one. And yeah, a very, very honest mare. Going back on the weekend though, Dec, like it went well. Ballybird, very impressive. That bumper form that we talked about last week with himself, Dancing City and Slade Steel coming to the fore again. So as you said, we were looking in all the right places. A few more quick questions here from Paul. With 12 of the 15 winners at the Dublin Racing Festival being by French-based stallions, do you think this will impact sky-high prices paid for Irish point-to-point winners? I would say no, because those French horses are probably being bought privately for mad money anyway, I would have thought. I don't know if you've had that on that, Dec.
No, you're probably right there.
Stan, what the hell do we make about the Arkle? That's a fair question. Marine National, something looked wrong with him.
I thought 100%. He was. Yeah, I said it to whoever was beside me in the stand at the first. Like I didn't know there was something wrong then, but I should have went, ooh, that's not like him. Like,
yeah.
Thought he was a bit big at it and not himself, not the horse we've seen jump around there at Christmas. So a lot of people blaming the ground, blaming his the trainers, blaming the ground, blaming his wind. To me, I thought it was more than that. Could
have been a mental thing there, all right.
Yeah, I was surprised nothing's come out of it, but your wind doesn't affect you the first 200 yards,
Yeah, no, he was. His head was up in the air, all right. Maybe a mental thing, but like that Arkle, as you said, it's wide open now, and I think Found a 50 is the one that sets the standard, coming back to 1.7 miles, nearly 2 miles, but he led them to 50 yards out and then just got done by, let's say, Tom. But yeah, no, that Arkle's wide open.
Hopefully Imagine gets supplemented now. He's new connection.
He's trained in the UK now, so we'll have to see. Harry Durham, I think. Yeah, Harry Durham.
Yeah, maybe we can tweet him and say, look, there's an opportunity there.
Exactly, he's a good one. Everyone talks about the mares swerving. This is from Michael. Swerving races, but what do novices running in handicaps at big festival? What about novices running in handicaps at big festivals? Should they be prevented from running in handicaps? Ensure Willie Mullins isn't mob-handed in grade ones. It reduces the possibility of matches in grade ones as well. The handicaps would still fill up. I suppose not every horse is a grade one horse, I suppose, is the obvious answer to that. But yeah, look, you could. There's different sides of each coin. Obviously, in the UK, you have to have 4 runs now to run the big handicaps. That's absolutely destroyed the Betfair hurdle. But look, we'll have to see. I think the top weight's 140 in that on Saturday. So yeah, it depends what way you came from. Nearly there, Dec. Joe Bone says Sandro's jumping on Sunday was a cause for concern for Operation Grand Annual. He was only out for a school, Joe. There was no cause for concern there whatsoever. A few more pounds off his back, and you'll see a better.
Hard to jump when you're not being allowed to go forward.
Exactly, yeah. Ryan Combs says, do either of you have a problem with Gavin Cromwell sending Keith Donoghue over to Musselburgh when the Dublin Racing Festival was on? Absolutely not. Sir, final orders, as we said, probably wasn't going to be winning. And Keith can only ride a very limited amount of horses with his weight as well. So he wouldn't have been able to ride Pat Daru. He wouldn't have been able to ride Percival Lagoa. And I think they were Gavin's 2 kind of best chances of the week, weren't they? They were both bang there.
And Gavin's going there with horses no matter what weekend that's on. He's not going there to avoid anyone. He's going there to scoop. I know people give out about prize money in Britain all the time, but there's nice pots over there that are very, very winnable.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the horses you can send over there, look, you could send a horse over to Britain to win a 30 grand pot, and he wouldn't be good enough to get into a race in Ireland that's worth 30 grand. So
absolutely,
they're going anyway. There's money to be won. I don't have a problem with it, no.
Absolutely. No, I'd agree with most of that. Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on our socials for any other thoughts about the Dublin Racing Festival or future racing. But without further ado, Dec, we'll pop on to Naas and the race that we just alluded to at the start of the show, the AM Transport Support and Kill GAA rated hurdle. So this is the 4-year-old novice juvenile hurdle that has produced plenty of Boodles winners, 4 of the last 5, I think. And I've noticed that the juveniles seem to be getting rated a lot more leniently this season. Obviously, the likes of Salver in the UK rated 128, Sergino, the top rated juvenile, 145. Going back to previous years when the likes of Solo and sure, even Vauban, I think, had marks in the 150s. So, yeah, the handicapper's giving them a chance, which is the way they should be. They're young horses, and they usually don't have a hope when they're 4 turning 5 in open company. So,
yeah,
unless you're Aspar de Len, or there's very few other horses that can do it. So 6 runners, Dec. I know you tipped up Lark in the morning earlier in the week. He was a non-runner due to the ground, and Joseph is coming here instead. He's already had his 3 runs, so he could be Boodles bound. A couple of these are actually already qualified if they do want to go down that route. Piccini is as well, as is Eagle Fang. But what way do you see this race, Crumlin?
Look, I suppose he looks well in against the likes of Piccini. He has a mark of 118. He's carry 11 stone. I do like him. I thought he would have been very, very hard to beat at Fairyhouse on Wednesday. He was 9 lengths behind Mighty Bandit in his maiden. But the one I think is going to be toughest to beat here was only a neck behind Mighty Bandit in the grade 2, and that's Eagle Fang. We've spoken about him a bit before. He gets £7 from Nara here. He was 3 lengths ahead of her on her debut. He chased home Fratas before that. Fratas is a filly of Mick Mulvaney's, who I can't wait to see her again. I think she got a triumph entry. I'm not sure if she's still in there now. Have we had a scratch for the?
She's in there. I'm pretty sure she's in there. Yeah.
I'd imagine they think a lot of her. She was very, very impressive that day, and he chased home Hands On the day before that, who we've yet to see again. He was 10 lengths off Caliconti in that grade 2 at Christmas, where he was just behind Mighty Bandit. At the weight here, I'd say he's well in. 11 stone. Nara's 11.7. Piccini opened the question 11.4. I think he's better than Lark in the morning. He doesn't have a mark yet. You'd imagine he has to win though to get into the Fred Winter. What do you think?
The way the handicapper's assessing them this year, I wouldn't have thought so. Like as you said, that length and a half behind Fratas. It depends what the handicapper thinks of Fratas, I suppose. Like I'd say he's in the low 1-teens, maybe. Like he's probably 113, 114, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit higher. It really depends on how the handicapper takes that Fratas form. Like even the 11 lengths in the grade 2, like that could easily knock him up a good few pounds. He was 66-1, and look, he's going well. He only kind of petered out of that race late on, so I would have agreed with you here. I think he's the most interesting one in here by some distance. Like you couldn't fancy the mare or the filly at the top, Nara. She just didn't jump well enough, I don't think, in that grade 3, and she has to give weight all around. That's a very tough assignment for her. Open to Question only ran last week. It didn't run particularly well. 123 looks a bit on the high side for him. I wouldn't imagine they'd be too interested in getting too close here. Piccini, I would have the hunch he's going to go off favour. He kind of got the hang of it at Fairyhouse, and he's still learning on the job. Nice horse, for sure. Cost a lot of money, I think, at the sales too. Bright Legend needs to improve, and Lark in the morning. I could see this turning into a bit of a dash, and I don't think that's going to suit him either. So yeah, no, I think Bill Durkins is probably the one to be with here. Do I want to like put a forward for a nap of the top in a race of this nature where you could have a lot of variables here? You could have horses looking for the next day, and you can win this race and win the Boodles as well. Like, you don't have to just partake in this race. I think most of them actually did win this race, with the exception, I think, of Jazzy Maddie. I think the rest of them all won. So yeah, no, I'd agree with you, Dec. I think Bill Durkins is the one to be with here. Eagle Fang. A lot of placed form and ran well in the grade too. And yeah, I'd follow you in on that one for sure. Moving on then to the 155, the Connolly's Red Mills Irish EBF Auction Novice Hurdle. A race, I think that was this one was won by, was City Island win this, did he? I think before he won the Ballymore. He came through the CBF series, and I know you like the CBF series, Dec.
Yeah.
But Janie Mack, this is the strongest renewal of this race I can remember. A lot of graded quality horses in here. Answer to Cave, who already has good graded form. Blizzard of Oz, who on the balance of his bumper form and what he's shown over hurdles, I'd imagine will be a graded horse. Captain Cody, almost certainly a graded horse. And Back to Normal is a horse I have a lot of time for. I think we'll win races as we approach the end of the springtime. Even the Graveyard Bookie's gone and won a race, and Michaela's Choice, who I think I put up as a horse to follow in one of the very first taps. No chance here, but could definitely win races in the summer. What do you think of this, Dec? This isn't a bad race at all now.
No, I think it's very, very competitive. Look, Captain Cody, I suppose, is the one that he was impressive, wasn't he? At Gowran, he ran in the champion bumper. And he's off for a long time, but he came out and won well. He is going to be tough to beat, but I'm keen to take him on, and it is where Answer the Cave. He just failed when giving away to Waterford Whispers in a rated novice hurdle at Fairy House before the big run to finish third to Loch Lynn at Limerick. He wouldn't have been out of place in the race at Leopardstown last Saturday. To Nathaniel Lacey, I don't think being out of place at all. I really, really like him. John Chinnick takes off 7 again. I don't think he's going to give Captain Cody something to think about. Blizzard of Oz in here. He won what looked like a strong maiden at the time. The third and fourth have placed since Killaney Hill was second. Or Killaney King probably let the form down a little bit. And you'd have liking to see a winner from behind. I'm just trying to think who the third and fourth where they were placed anyway, but I don't think it's as strong as what we thought at the time. I'm a big fan of Answer the Cave, and it would definitely be a horse to follow going forward into next season. Put a fence in front of him. I think he'll have a right go at the likely favourite here.
Yeah, 11-10 on his back though would obviously be the drawback on that. But then again, he is rated 134. He's no mug, and John Chinnick does take off the 7. So there is a couple of there's a couple of pointers there.
He was down to carry 12 over 12 stone, 12-7 or 12. He was down to carry 12. Was he the last day? John Chinnick took off the 7. Look, I don't think this horse is a problem carrying weight. Now he does have to concede weight to good horses, but as I said, I don't think he'd have been outplaced in the race at Leopardstown last.
The 2 mile 6 one.
Yeah, the 2 mile 6, and I think Loch Lynn was pulled up. The other horse finished the race was a Stellar, one of the Jickenstown horses.
I Will Be Bay, Stellar Story, Predator's Gold. I think
Stellar Story. But yeah, look, I fancy him to have a good go at the favourite here. I wouldn't say I'm bullish on him, but he's a horse I really, really like, and definitely want to keep an eye on going forward into next season. He's probably going to win at the Punchestown Festival, this horse.
Yeah, if he can hold his form. He has been on the go for quite a while now. He's at he's only had 3 runs actually really since October. It's just that he's running pretty tough races, all on very testing ground, and it looks like it's going to be testing if we do get to go ahead here on Saturday as well. But the 11-10, even minus John Chinnick's 7, it does temper my enthusiasm about him a little bit, but there is no doubt he is a very nice horse. I'm going to go with Blizzard of Oz. You did say that maiden looked good at the time and hasn't really lived up to it, which is fair enough. I think there was an issue with Killaney King on his next start at Navan. He was up with my trump card up in the van, and he just literally went out like he got shot. Which makes me think there was an issue. As you said, a little bit of place form in behind, good bumper form, has the 11 stone 6 on his back with Mark Walsh to, there to assist. So I quite like that. Captain Cody, as you said, likely going to be favourite with his 11-4 and Paul Townend. He couldn't have really been much more impressive at Gowran, but it's hard to know what back to normal kind of showed in that maiden hurdle. Like, he stopped quite quickly after bringing them along too. He reopposes, and as I said, probably another day for him. And he rode also a very nice horse who could, get a nice mark in a handicap if he can bounce back from his disappointing run behind Waterford Whispers. But for me, it's Blizzard of Oz. I quite like him. I think he's a very nice horse, and this is a good opportunity for him. And I'd love to see where they place him now, going forward into the spring months. I doubt he'll go to Cheltenham. I don't even know if he's a Cheltenham entry, does he? Highly doubt it. Or then again, it is Willie Mullins, so they tend to have a lot. No, he does. Yeah, he has a Supreme and a Bearing Bingham entry. If he was to win it impressive, you could see him rocking up in the Bearing Bingham at a big price. As of right now, he's 25 to 1. If he was to win this, he would be knocked in a few points, but it'd still be a double figure price, and that's a very open novice hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. So you have himself and Captain Cody for Willie Mullins, and obviously Answer to Kife as well, who I'd be nearly sure he doesn't have any Cheltenham entries, but the winner of this race would definitely raise my eyebrows now for something like the Bearing Bingham, because it is so wide open. Answer to Kife actually has a Bartlett entry. Funny enough, I'm not sure if 3 miles is his thing though. But interesting enough with that. Yeah, so it'll be Blizzard of Oz for me, Dec, and you're sticking with Answer to Kife, are you?
I'd stick with Answer to Kife, yeah.
Answer to Kife, okay. On to the half 2, which is the Cavan Development supporting Kill GAA maiden hurdle. This is the third race, and so Gold in the Rivers now under Ballymore ownership with Gordon Elliott. I think that might be the first horse he's had with Gordon Elliott. Union Station, who was third on his first ever racecourse appearance, beaten by Tully Hill. That wasn't a bad run as well. Keith Donahue going to ride him. Look, just the 9 going to post a small enough field, Deck, for a maiden hurdle, but most of the big colours and big trainers represented. So who do you like here?
Gold in the Rivers is interesting now. They've obviously seen something. He's beat 30 lengths by Jade de Grugy on debut. He's been purchased by Ballymore, as you said. They've obviously seen something. That was his first ever run. I didn't run on point to points, didn't run on bumper. So you'd imagine he's going to come on for the run. But I kind of stacked his form on previous pods, but it is hard. Like, it's hard to know where it's at. Mr. Love It. He was toured at Naas to Slade Steel and King of Kingsfield. Like, if that form was real and to be believed, he's going to be hard to beat here. Now, he's had plenty of goals before it, and maybe he was just learning his job, and maybe it was real, and he did improve, because what they've done since, like it's the fact that he was close to 2 of them, not just one of them, like Slade Steel and King Kingsfield. So maybe it was just a horse who was taking a while to learn his job. He seems to be around forever, Mr. Love It, doesn't he? I think he ran a lot of bumpers as well.
Yeah, an 8-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, but like if that, look, the others are going to be improving, but he's obviously, well, you'd think he's taking a big step forward that time. Probably not a betting race, but I go with Mr. Love It, but I am interested to see how Gold in the Rivers runs.
Yeah, I'd imagine your favourite is probably going to be Union Station for Gavin Cromwell and Keith Donahue. Probably, like, he was beaten 10 lengths by Tully Hill, but it was an eye-catching enough 10 lengths. First ever racecourse appearance. He was never going to be beaten Tully Hill, and he probably would have learned quite a lot. He's probably ran somewhere in the low one teens, if even, maybe even 111, 112, maybe not that high. But if you have Mr. Love It in here with his mark of 111 and Gold in the Rivers, who, despite his change in ownership, Jade de Grugy didn't even come out of second gear, and you would have 31 lengths to find with her, which there's not many horses that would be beating Jade de Grugy in novice company. But he is the joker in the pack. Like, he was well found in the market too. Like, he went off, I think 4-1 or something like that. So I'd probably have it between the two.
Do you sweeten up? Do you improve, sweeten up and improve for change of ownership? I can understand changing yards.
Yeah, you could change an ownership. Yeah, well, obviously you kind of you alluded to it. They might have saw something. The horseman bought. It was well fancied the first day, so there is a lot kind of pointing towards. And then there's obviously Union Station, who is a similar enough profile. I'd probably go with Gold in the Rivers. I'd be swayed towards the new ownership and the fact that he was well fancied on his race course debut, whereas Union Station was 20-1. There's every chance they might have been pleasantly surprised by Union Station. I'd say they have it between them, but I would probably very tentatively go with Gordon Elliott's horse, Gold in the Rivers. But it's probably a race to watch, to be brutally honest with you, Dec. And you're Mr. Lova, yeah?
Must
love. Right, on to the 305 and a Dare Manor Opportunity Handicap Hurdle. This is where you're going to come into effect there, Dec. 80 to 116 bracket. 11 runners. So usually you'd see these races quite full, but only the 11 going to post. Ebasari, my word, like, I don't think this could be. Is this his first time in this grade? I think it is. He's ran on this card before. He's beaten by Brazil in 2022 on this card in the 4-year-old juvenile hurdle. He's fallen through the weights really like a stone since the summertime of 2022. Quite interesting now. Carl Miller, he's not able to claim in this sort of race, but he's very interesting down in class now. This is probably the easiest opportunity Ebasari has had in quite a long time to win a race. But he has to rediscover his form. But I'll be very interested to see how he goes with a view to maybe, he could be a nice summer horse. As I said there, winner at Downpatrick in the summertime. I'm going to probably have him on my radar now for some summer handicap hurdles, and this is kind of the time where those type of horses start having to come on your radar. So Ebasari be one I'm watching close, Dec. I don't think I'll be backing him though. But who's your selection here?
I thought it was one standing out here and not what we normally look for. I don't think there's anything really ticking the boxes we're normally looking for, but Whiskey Wealth is rated 127 over fences. He actually ran into Dan Moore, and he was going to go close over hurdles 2 starts ago at Turles. He fell. He's won off over fences of 116. He's in here off 113. In fact, he's going to go close at Turles. Like, he can hurdle, like, normally over fences we're looking for the other way, and I'm not always too interested in a lower hurdle mark after they've gone chasing, because of the opinion they generally improve. But the fact he was gonna, he was going well at Turles in a race where I don't think there's anything really lurking here. I don't think there's anything that could be really well handicapped. Like, Champion Green he's a tricky one to work out. Like, I'd say he's hard to train. He struggled early on his return at Fairy House. I think been off for nearly a year. It was the race that Feet of a Dancer won, but he stayed on quite well that day. Bit of an eye catcher, and then he weakened over 2 mile 2 here the last day. He's won potentially, but like not totally obvious. Star Official, he's in here off 101. He's very, very consistent. He's only a 6-year-old. He's going to run his race. He could be a safe each way back here. He's won off 95. He may be good enough to win off 101 eventually, but I don't think he is now. And Variable Sparring in here off 92. Got £4 for the second to Billy Leake Swagger at Punchestown on New Year's Eve. It's harsh, isn't it, getting beaten and getting £4? Like, you don't often see that in Ireland. He didn't stay the time after that, but I think Whiskey Wealth could be really well in here.
Yeah, he's probably going to be a short enough order to win this race, as he was cruising at Turles, wasn't he? And then obviously there's nothing in here that would even have a prayer in the Dan Moore or run any better than Whiskey Wealth ran. He ran okay, but as you said, he's a much better chaser than he is a hurdler. But on the evidence of Turles and on similar ground, you would have thought he's going to be hard to beat. Ebasari, as I said, one for the summer. Champion Green might be as well. Yulong Voice definitely is one for the summer too. A 7-year-old who he will not go really on testing ground. Needs good really in the description, and he's off 99. Managed to beat the big chap, no less, at Limerick in July of 2022 off 98, and they're slipping back down to that mark as well. So I'd be very interested to see him in the summer. So there's a couple of horses in here that I want to see, as I said, late spring, early summertime. But as I said, Whiskey Wealth does look the obvious one, and will probably take some stopping in that 305. Next deck is the 340, the Opera Hat Mare's Chase. And this is Allegory Devassi coming back to 2 miles. A trip that it's kind of looking like she would want. She just doesn't seem to be. Look, ever since Impervious kind of broke her heart, I suppose, at Cheltenham. I know she has won since at Clonmel, but she just hasn't really been the same mare. And I think coming back to 2 miles might be the fact-finding mission for her, and I think it's the right decision. It was Unstee she beat, who reopposes, and we Riviere de Tel, Silent Approach, who's enjoying a great season, and then obviously Mascada as well. Probably worth noting that this is a race that Henry de Bromhead has won with Magic Days, I believe. So it is a race that he has won in the past. Who do you like here, Dec? This is a competitive Opera Hat, and yeah, you might actually get a decent price here because Allegory Devassi could well set the market.
Yeah, look, she's very good when she's on song. I thought at Clonmel maybe she was back, but when she's bad, she's bad. You know, she was hammered by Riviere de Tel the last day at Fairy House, and was it? Well, look, Allegory Devassi's carrying 11.5. She had 151. Riviere de Tel's 11.3. She had 149. So
bang on.
Riviere de Tel looks to be back on song though. She chased on Captain Guinness in the Fortrea, and then she's absolutely hammered Allegory Devassi in.
Yeah, she has. Yeah,
and she's another one. She's very good. On Steve probably has plenty to find. She got a lot away from Allegory Devassi at Clonmel and a bit of a beating. And Mascada, you know, if the mark is to be believed, and the 8 lengths off El Fabiolo, although she was getting a stone and 3 pound, you know, it's a lot of weight to receive. But we're talking about him as you know, he's the one to follow Captain Guinness home and the Queen Mother. So, like, you do have to take that, you know. Well, look, if you want to take it serious or not, do you believe her mark? Do you believe that run behind El Fabiolo? I'm not sure I do. And I still think a lot of Silent Approach. I think she just didn't get home at Tortoise. Our previous form is very, very solid. And I think that trip at Tortoise takes an awful lot of getting because how fast they go. You know, they get racing very, very early in Tortoise, and you have to stay the 2 mile 5. Stayers win it. 3 mile horses win the 2 mile 5 at Tortoise, not 2 mile horses. And I think it's the opposite at Cheltenham. Like they say at Cheltenham, you have to get 3 miles to get 2 mile 5. Like Underscore doesn't get 3 miles. He wouldn't get it in a horse box. You know, he's never got it. They went to France where they walk, and he didn't get 3 miles in the French champion hurdle. So I think at Cheltenham on stiffer tracks, they walk and it can turn into a bit of a dash at Tortoise. And I know Danny was dictating, but it's just they just get racing early at Tortoise. And I'd fancy her here coming back over 2 miles. I really, really like her. Now, she is dancing every dance this season. But when you get a tough mare, they usually can, you know.
Yeah.
When you get a tough mare, they're usually tougher than the geldings. So I think she's good enough to take this.
Well, okay, Silent Approach. Yeah, look, I've never been mad on Mascada. I thought people tipping her for the Mare's Chase at the start of the season was bonkers. And I never really rated the Grand Annual form since Dino Blue did everything humanly possible to not win that race with what she did at the last 2 fences, and she was still only beaten 6 lengths. Yeah, look, she's a lot to find with Allegory Devassi and the Clonmel run, and the El Fabiolo run. You're probably right. She is probably a little bit flattered by that, but she's getting weight from everything. She's carrying 10 stone 11, and if you liked her for a race like the Mayor's Chase, I'm not saying I did, but I always thought she was a 2-miler. Like, she surely has to take a serious bit of whacking here off with her 10 stone 11, getting all that weight. Obviously, Allegory Devassi 11 stone 5, Riviere de Tell 11 3. Silent Approach 11-1 and Honesty 11 stone. So she's getting weight from everything, and you can probably argue she's improved in the spring. She did win a Grand Annual, I suppose, but I suppose she did bomb out behind the Goffer at the Dublin Racing Festival last year. Yeah, I would go Mascada. I just can't ignore the amount of weight that she's getting off everything. Would I be backing anything in this race? I'd probably not. I think it's a race to probably watch, but Mascada getting all the weight would be my selection. Dec, you're probably going to be well rewarded if Silent Approach can even hit the frame here, finishing the top 2, because I'd say she's going to be the rag of the field, and I'd say you're going to get a very tasty price.
I can't understand that at all. The form she's found, the form she's shown this season. Like, she was Tortoise Balance Tower and Blood Destiny. She won the race at Cork, that impervious one before that. She's just not taking anyone's fancy. She was even very, very backable at Tortoise, and I just think it was down to that. Like, Harmonia Maker is very good when she's on song, and she was on song that day, but I just think it was totally down to I just think she didn't get it that day.
Yeah.
And that's all. So yeah, I fancy her here.
Yeah, no, she have a chance for sure. Moving on to the 4:15, the Quinbet Hunter's Chase. Have you made your Quinbet account yet, Dec?
No, had I something to tell you about Quinbet? Did I send you something? There was something about Quinbet. I think it was something funny I was going to tell you. I'll tell you off air if I remember.
Very good, very good. Really, really strong race though. 9 going to post. This could be the strongest Hunter Chase we see until the spring festivals. We're only really missing Winged Leader and Ferns Lock here, are we? Of the top Irish horses.
Yeah.
And a mix in Patrick's colours now, Patrick Mullins' colours. Battle Over Doyen. Great to see him win the point-to-point 2 weeks ago, and steps back now into onto back to rules. Bill Away, I think, trying to win this race for the 4th time, 12 years of age now. Hardline, who went off favourite for one of the worst articles ever run. Great to see him as well. Hitak, rules debut for him, but beat Winged Leader when last seen in the point-to-point field. 7-year-old, clearly loaded with a lot of talent, and he is carrying the colours, I believe, of I think John Bond carried those colours to a point-to-point win. Elmarie Holden's colours, and then the 2 more that are obviously worth mentioning. It's On the Line, who was runner-up in the Hunter's Chase at Cheltenham last season. And then Ramillies, who has been absolutely prolific in the point-to-point field since November, and was 4th to It's On the Line at Down Royal. But as I said, really, really strong Hunter's Chase here, Dec. Form isn't as hard to read as other Hunter Chases as a result. But who do you like here?
I think it's between 2. I think it's fairly
the same too.
It's On the Line and Hightack.
Yeah.
Is that where you were going?
That's exactly where I was going. Yeah, like Hightack is there's a hit tack or Hightack. I don't know. Obviously Derek O'Connor, he has no choice really. He's ridden both of them, but he was second at Cheltenham with It's On the Line. But I'd love to know what he thinks of Elmarie Holden's horse, because the form is in the book. He just needs to translate it now to the racecourse. But he's very, very interesting horse.
He beat Wing Leader 2 starts ago, and he beat King Alex at Barryconnell's the last day. He's only had 4 starts. He's very unexposed, but It's On the Line is like, he was second at Cheltenham, fell at Aintree, and then won at Punchestown. The 2 of them are only 7. But It's On the Line has beaten Ferns Lock at Tortoise. So
yeah, it's strong form.
Yeah, I think it's between them. Like, you're talking about Enemies 12, Battle Over Dying is 12, Bill Away. It's actually the 5th time Bill Away is trying to
win
this race. Yeah,
okay.
He's 12. Hardline's 12. Who's a Duke de Ginevra who won his article?
It was, it was indeed.
You know, Remedies, he won by 64 lengths the last day. I think he was crossing the line as they were jumping the last.
Going into they were all in the other field.
Yeah, the other field. Yeah, he's only 9 to be fair. Like, you know, you get a good couple of seasons out of him, but these two only 7 in Hunter chases. It's and the strong the form is there. It's strong. I'll side with it's on the line. Could be straight forecast. It's on line to be high tech.
Yeah, I'd be on a similar wavelength, but it really depends on the prices for me. I just thought it was very impressive the high tech was able to beat Winged Leader. I think Winged Leader was race fit as well. It's worth noting. He is a 10-year-old. Maybe you could make the argument isn't as good as what he was, even though he's only 10, which is young for a hunter. But to beat him 4 lengths, and he's won now on yielding and he's won on heavy. He's beaten King Alex, kind of doing what he liked, and motored clear that day as well. So yeah, I think he's very, very exciting. It's on the line is probably going to be favourite unless the market speaks highly of Billaway, who, as I said, is going for a remarkable 5th win in this race, which is brilliant. But if he's up near the top of the market, he's going to be setting it for one of the young ones. You would have thought High Tech has a lot to obviously prove, but so inexperienced and has already showed such a high level of form. He's not going to be as short as it's on the line, but if we have it between them, if I'm getting a decent price on High Tech, I will take a chance, and I'll happily take a chance. I'd love to know if Derek O'Connor would he have rather have ride him, because I'd say it was very hard to get off. It's on the line. I'd say he's been booked for this horse for months, given on what he did last year. But High Tech for me is just so interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him now on Saturday. So it'll be him for me, and then the straight forecast for you, Dec, is it?
I think it's on. Yeah, I'll go with the straight forecast. Yeah.
Very good, and I'd say the winner of this probably joins Fernslock at the top of the Hunter's Chase market at Cheltenham. If they're not up there already, I think High Tech's only 12 to 1 for, even though he's never ran under rules, which is it's wild. But people have obviously picked up the form book, and yeah, it's not hard to see. Finally, Dec, the bumper.
Sorry, Andy. Do you have to have run under rules? You can get a wild card, can't you, as the champion?
You can, yeah. Yeah, but he's running under rules now. He will be eligible. I'm almost certain he will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it just one run?
Yeah, I think it's only one run. He might have to. I don't think he has to fit. I think he just needs one run. There's different rules for, like, if you're a horse like Ramillies, who's ran under rules for years and years.
Prize money comes into it, and
all sorts. Yeah. There is which is fair enough, but I wouldn't say High Tech will have any problems whatsoever. So finally, the Christopher Dunn Memorial, Dec, is the final race we're going to cover here from Naas. Really looking forward to this card. Like, it's a nice way to end it as well. The 4-year-olds, just the 5 of them though, and I would imagine Book Away Freddie is probably going to be your short price favorite. I think Gordon won the race last year, possibly with Samui. I want to say it was Samui. I could be wrong though. Rare enough you see a Flemonsford 4-year-old this early, but here we are. Harry Swan taking off the 5, Cap the Triumph for the Doyles. Obviously they decided to not sell this lad. So here he goes in a bumper. He's related to Charmix as well, so nice enough pedigree there. It's probably between those two, Dec. I know the Nolan horse has experience, but he was beaten half the track. I highly doubt you're getting involved here, but do you have any thoughts on the bumper?
No opinion.
No worries. Yeah, I'd imagine it's going to be Gordon's in the bumper anyway. Book Away Freddie, but hopefully we're not needing to have a bet in that. So, Dec, the nap of the tap, I suppose we both came down on the one horse, so it by default it probably has to be. We go back to the 120, and it's Eagle Fang for Bill Dirk and Philip Enright. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, he's a horse I really like. I've spoken about him a bit on here. I'm not mad on the rated novice hurdles or a rated juvenile hurdle. they're usually small fields, and it's hard to know what's off and what's not, but I like to think he has to win, and I think he's better than him at the weights he's well in. So I suppose I'd be keen enough on him, and I'd be keen on the horse in the handicap hurdle come back from Danmore, Whiskey Wealth.
Whiskey Wealth, you could be talking 6-4 or something.
He's gonna be short.
Like he's gonna be short,
definitely gonna be short. But he should win. He should win. Like judging by the run at Thurles, have him running at Danmore. Got thrown in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll be back in Durkins, as what you said there. Not too many betting propositions on the card for me. I will back Hightack though. I'm going to take a chance on him, even though it's his rules debut. I think he, the form is screaming at you, and it shouldn't be ignored. And Elmarie Holden, I think I've said on a few podcasts before, very, very capable handler. But she's more into the point-to-pointers and makes plenty of money selling them as well, as we said, the likes of John Bon. I think, did Duvan come through hers? No, he came from France, but she had John Bon. She's had many, many others as well. Really, really top handler. Just before we go, Dec, obviously the Boyne Hurdle card at Navan on Sunday. Just keep an eye on our socials. We'll pop up a few tips for that. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Ascending in the maiden hurdle. Rate 133, but has strong form in the book. I think he'll take a fair bit of whacking, and because he's had so many chances, I think he might be odds against. We hopefully get to see brighter days ahead in the Apples Jade, Novice Hurdle, and then obviously the Boyne Hurdle, Dec. We get the defending Stairs Hurdle champion Sire de Berlay at the age of 12 making a seasonal reappearance, which would be great to see. And some top low grade handicaps for you to get your teeth stuck into, Dec, there as well.
I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the card yet, but I'm excited.
Me too. I'm very much looking forward to that. My only slight worry, no Monty Starr in the 10 up, and he's now 7-1 for the Brown Advisory, because of Grange Clare West coming out. So I'm not sure if they're going straight to Cheltenham. His jumping is good enough. He'd be one of the very few horses that it wouldn't bother me, but I was hoping to see him there in the 10 up, but hopefully all's okay with him. But until then, guys, that was Take a Pull, Tap 29. Just keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. That's all we ask for. We'll keep providing the winners. You just keep listening. But until next time, guys, bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.